Oh, yes. It's time for Daily 677 Part 2. We've established some of the principles that we want to abide by. Excuse me. Against swarm hosts, the notion of mobility. We want to keep a very mobile, aggressive army. And we establish how important it is to try to snap things off before they ever get started. I'm going to soften that statement a little bit and make it more complex, make it more subtle by saying we can wound something before it gets started. So that way, instead of it being an 18 swarm host army that we can't seem to beat, it's an 11 swarm host army that we're actually going, wow, I might have an opportunity to take that out. This is how we want to be thinking: mobility to weaken, to just kind of slowly hinder until he's wounded enough that we can snap him down. So we have the map: heavy rain, heavy chokes. Speaking of heavy, Death Knight is stabbing people in chat again. By the way, if you think that I'm saying anything violent, don't worry. Nothing at all like that. One of the dedicated viewers, Death Knight, likes to type with the emote option in Twitch. And he likes to just recreationally stab his friends in writing. This is weird. This is coming out oddly. The important thing is that it's funny. Did I fix it? Alright, this is Heavy Rain. I want to look at Heavy Rain on a very difficult to see mini-map, but that's okay because just follow the trapezoid. So I'm going to come out down to the natural of hero and swing around to his third. There's 3 paths. Here's one, down the middle. Whoa. There's another one up the side. And there's another one. There's also the sort of extreme outer lanes over here and up here along these sides. But I want to emphasize how important the lack of a clear center is. Imagine swarm hosts being here, and there's another army here. What can the locusts do? Well, let me actually show you they can't do anything. See, swarm hosts here. What's the path they would have to take? Well, they'd probably have to go all the way up here or down here. Yeah, gosh, if swarm hosts are here, they can't mess with anything that's on either side of this. And similarly, if we have the swarm hosts here, maybe the swarm hosts are here trying to siege down and push this way. Well, then we have the huge problem that anything in the middle or this side is in terrible shape. Mobility is going to be our key. So we want to look at what places on the map we can exploit that mobility. We can't just be like, I'm mobile, and then build zerglings and sit them down quietly and go, shh, take a very mobile nap. We want to look and identify there as a big key. So we got hero. We're going to break this into 2 parts. The before hero knows swarm hosts are coming and the after hero knows swarm hosts are coming play. Because the last thing we want is to develop a strategy that's good only if our opponent is going swarm hosts with no flexibility in any other way. I'm going to go ahead and do a yawn. I am so yawny. My name is Shawnee. Okay, gateway opening. Pretty standard. Especially standard on maps like Heavy Rain. I should say increasingly standard on maps like Heavy Rain because of how frequently 6 pools can do really, really, really potent damage. Also, there's just nothing wrong with going gateway first, generally speaking. Boom. Cybernetics core coming down. Pretty typical scout timing post-core for hero. Let's actually go to the hero cam so we can see things from the Protoss point of view. Because I almost feel like doing analysis like this, where we can see everything, can often betray how little knowledge hero actually has. It can make it seem like hero's doing a whole lot with all the information he has. He's not actually going to know very much. But he is going to see things like double hatch, almost certainly before pool, and it won't really change his game plan too much. We'll permit him to do a slightly faster expand. Let me just switch the colors really fast. Badoink. There we go. Oh wait, I once upon a time heard that this changed it. If I... What, Control X is it? Switch. Okay. Alright, enough interface fun. So, you know, Hero's doing some pretty reasonable choices. For instance, he went Zealot Stalker as an opening. What did he skip? The Mothership Core. Why skip that? Well, if this dude is delaying getting the Lings and probably going for speed early, he can't really attack us. So we don't super need Mama Ship Core. I think it gets queued up after another Stalker, maybe. So Hero is just doing generally good gameplay right now. I see an opportunity to harass, to deal a little damage. This probably won't win anything, but I'm at least doing some damage. Look at Hero microing his probes, so that way, look at everything positioned to be able to retreat. There's some maps where there's like a third over here, where it's really hard to find a clean retreat angle, but Hero's opening himself up for good retreat angles. I always admire players who can set themselves up very, very nice retreats. Here comes the Mothership Core. Sentry's a pretty standard component. This Forge first seems a little unusual. I mean, obviously it's part of the wall off, it contributes there, but why get the Forge so early? All contributes to this gateway unit focused theme that we're seeing out of Hero. And by the way, this is CJ Entus Hero, not Hero of Liquid Yore. So, you know, we're seeing a Hero just pull back. He's probably going to have to retreat all the way back home. Zealot is kind of getting sacrificed. We're already starting to see just... This is just kick-ass. This is just him being a really badass mofo. These other pieces that we're seeing is a very defensive setup. This is saying I want to go gateway units, but I want long-term potential. Maximizing the value out of this. But not that. I mean, this is pretty sensible stuff at this point in time. Chrono Boost going down almost exclusively on probes. There's no Chrono Boost going down here. We went one gate expand. We want to make sure we have a great economy, especially against a 3 Hatchin Zerg. So we can make simple statements. Hey, that guy has Zergling speed. I guess I need to be careful. Gas coming down, still quite early, pre-7-minute mark. Nice move here. Setting this up. This is what I like to call potential damage. This is a scout. It's just looking to see what's up. But it could do the potential bonus damage of forcing spore crawlers to get built. You see another one getting ready to be forced there. We're going to see another one here in a moment as well. Hero camp. Great. So, often you can just see how little, how much damage this thing is taking, and just go, oh, dude, this guy, he's not trying to do some attacking. He's scouting. But this is still valuable intel. 1 gas, 2 gas, Roach Warren. Where is the Roach Warren? It's over here. Yeah, it looks like he didn't manage to get that scouting information. I'd probably even be willing to send out another little attack-a-do. Not an attack-a-do. What's an attack-a-do? I'd be willing to send out another hallucination. That could be rather strong. So here is another one of these unusual plays that's very map-specific. This is extremely difficult to do surprise flanks. The units are going to come from the front, period. In the meantime, Hero is doing the very typical, very excellent fast expand. The very typical, the very excellent fast blink as well. At any point in time, Hero can recall, but is looking for an opportunity to deal some damage and to get some better sense of what's going on, and a lot of times doesn't even have to recall. Very few maps I would do this on every single time. But this is an example of Hero doing the same build, but doing different maneuvers with it, thanks to the map formation. And most notably, getting this +1 attack lined up perfectly with that assault. So it's the usual. Perfect. Zealot for the block. Nice. One stalker out to kind of help assist. Oh my god. Oh, dude, this is the worst feeling in the universe. This is just the worst thing that has ever happened to any Protoss, getting units in the base. So now we have a disaster. Our economy's been screwed up. We just don't know what he's up to. We see Lings, we see some gas. He could be doing virtually anything. It's nearly impossible for a Zerg player that went 3 base to have Mutalisks earlier than 11.5 minutes. I generally say 12 in my shows, but I'm going to get specific with you. But we see the same pattern. Last thing that's coming up is the Robo Facility. Man, he could be going Roaches? Well, I kind of have a lot of sentries and I'm getting Blink Stalkers. I think I should be okay. Ling counterattacks are going to be kind of nasty. Well, I guess I'll just really tell that Zealot, man, you really better block that stuff, okay? Jeez. Free pickups, this is just good. But we still don't know. Are Mutalisks coming? Are more Roaches coming? What's it going to be? Hero's going to do a push for information. He has 16... how many workers did he lose in that? Not really that many. Holy crap, look at that efficiency. Dang. That's good. Yeah, so it's actually a straight attack. And then, boom, the swarm hosts have been identified. Uh-oh. I want to note what was going on in Hero's head seconds before this push happened. Let's take a look. 11:30. Very hard to have Mutalisks out any earlier than this. Hey, now it's starting to become clear why this attack is really good. Against Roaches, we can just retreat. Against Mutalisks, we don't even have to worry about defending our main base for a little bit, because Zerg is going to have to defend his main base against Blink Stalkers. And against Swarm Hosts, well, now we know. So we've gotten the chance to see this formation. We see that there's not a lot of production on the probe front. Instant Warp Prism. What an interesting choice. Instant Robo Facility. +3 was en route anyways. So, let's actually move it forward so we can see the building. Let's talk about direct battling of the swarm hosts. I mean, Colossus are functionally a must. They can just eat through the locust lines better than pretty much anything the Protoss has. So, getting that makes a ton of sense. But, mobility was the big thing that I've been toting all game long. The Warp Prism is going to be very, very nice for us because we have the ability to hit up here as well. So here's a rather funky choice. This is just a time buy right here. Hero says, oh god, I need time to get up my Colossus. I really, really needs it. So 4 Zealots get warped in instantly. Look at the Phoenixes, the hallucinations start to move out. Suddenly, the force fields are not as important as knowing exactly what's up. How many expansions is there? Just great old scouting. Aha, a hive coming up. So we can pin our opponent with near 100% accuracy on Swarm Host, Viper, one of those turtly things. I mean, especially just seeing more Swarm Hosts get made. Cool. Second Robo Facility, almost a must always. A super incredibly big must because we are behind on Colossus. So what is Hero going to do right now? Well, he's just going to start opening himself up to do more mobility things. If mobility is our strength, wow, I'm going to open up this side. Look at the boldness with which Hero moves up here. Look at this base. No vision here. Why is that? Why is that okay? Well, he can box and retreat back here to this expansion should anything bad happen. And more importantly, he can recall if he's really desperate to keep that alive. But the fundamental thing that we've noted is that we are against Swarm Host. So we're either going to see Swarm Host here, and this attack's going to win, or we're going to see a force that's really tiny. Look, there's 18 roaches. That's no problem for almost any Protoss composition to deal with. So of course sending zealots into the main base. Uh-oh, the roaches are here, running away. Still same format from Hero. Also getting zealot charge, rather normal stuff. Let's admire these counterattackingness. So hallucination is going to become an increasingly kick-ass tool. We can absorb a lot of damage in the form of the Colossus. We can force a lot of abducts on units that don't matter. Little teensy pickups. And if we actually look at the global army positioning, we have roaches and queens and focus happening up here. And this is a significant enough force that Hero's able to waltz in here and just do at least a little bit of damage. This is the weakening it stuff that I was talking about earlier on. Just want to weaken it, just going for the fringes. Now, incidentally, that's pretty nice as a pickup, being able to pick off a whole hatchery. But it's these points. It's it's assaulting from this side here, and then assaulting from up here, and then assaulting from all the way down there. In some sort of nice, sexy unison. Now, what I think is very easy to sort of not do is to attack a lot. I think it's very easy against swarm host type play to try to want to get the nice composition and to prepare for sort of one big attack. But dude, Hero gets so aggressive. He gets so aggressive. I mean, first, sending zealots out nonstop. Second, when one warp prism dies, you know what? Let's get 2 warp prisms. Why 2? Well, obviously the first one died. And, you know, we do kind of want 6-7 Colossus. Zealots are going over here. Why? Because the most likely place for Zerg to take a 4th is here. Just real abuse of the all different sides. Moving out. Storm coming up to just deal with locusts better. And what do you know? Found a base. To sort of understand a lot of why this is going to be effective, we have to look at the army that we're seeing out of Dongray Gu. He actually does have a lot of swarm hosts. 18 with 26 roaches to sort of reinforce. But these are going in opposite directions. They're generally planted at the middle. It's very easy for the locust not quite to be here, or to have just run out. This is why the points matter so much, because virtually always the swarm host will be in the middle, which means we can hit here and here and here, and the locust can't always cover everything at once. One great benefit of going up against swarm hosts, man, you can expand so much. Ooh, look at that. Observer speed. We can soon enough even get gravitic drive, warp prism speed. Here comes some real warp prisms. Ooh, I hope those aren't hallucinated swarm hosts, because those would be tasty. So generally speaking, I think that we often see a lot of Tempests as a choice. I don't like Tempest as much, because that's kind of saying, you know what, get your perfect army up. Just get it. That's fine. I will permit that, and then I'll figure out what to do. I much prefer what we're seeing out of Hero, which is vastly more aggressive. He's increased his gateway count to 12. He's trying to find opportunities to pick off all the non-swarm host units. I think this is a really important thing to note. Aggressively blinking on units, virtually always a recipe for getting yourself killed. But we know that Dongray has a ton of swarm hosts. There's no way there's other units hiding here. There's no way that we're going to get into a losing engagement if we're really aggressive and blink. This is what I mean by exploit that mobility. So here we see just an absolutely delightful push. Attacking at point 1. 0.1. Warping into the main. There's point 2. And keep in mind that there's this warp prism here to be able to assault point 3. I mean, it's not so much 2 warp prisms is the right number. You want to think about the number of vulnerable points it could be 4 vulnerable points, at which point you might want 2 warp prisms, a proxy pylon, and then an army striking somewhere else. Or you could get 3 warp prisms. The storm now we're starting to see is just used to maximize the amount of damage that these pushes do. There's not like the 8 colossus that we sometimes see players get. Sometimes in a lot of the European leagues we'll see players just go absolutely nuts with colossus count. And to note, you know, there's some counterattacks going on. It's not breaking through all the way, but we're having some success here, so we can just reinforce that. In the units lost, Dongregü is soon enough going to be outstripping Hero. Right now, Hero's just been doing a really good job. The recall to save, what do you know? How convenient. We talked about that earlier on, and we're seeing it in action here. And down she goes. I don't know what these are doing here. But great, so Hero barely defended himself. A little move there. And signals like that, seeing all these locusts, can often be a very nice chance to be like, oh, you know, maybe I should do some stuff with this guy. We're going to see these assaults on the main from Hero be pretty brutal for Dongregü to deal with. And Dongregü is going to have to make some tough choices. Sure, we could argue, well, he could have gotten himself, you know, more corruptors to pick that off. Well, that's going to eat into the swarm host count. Roaches seems to be the choice for Dongregü. Seems to just say, okay, well, if I have mobile enough roach forces, I think that I'll be okay, yeah. But at this point, I want to talk about the expanding going on from Hero. This expansion was pretty easy to throw down. Killing off the roaches that were attacking there. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of annoying, but it's relatively straightforward to take bases wherever the heck you want. I mean, look at this. He's just attacking with his probes and just doesn't really care that much. You cannot really increase your mineral count by getting more bases because you just don't have enough probes to saturate the minerals. But you do have enough probes to saturate a geyser really easily. So we can start to see Hero begin to get more of those gas-heavy units. It's just Archons. Archons and Templar are really the big thing that we're going to see out of Hero. Not Tempests, not huge long-range blasters, but in the process of whittling down and wounding this Zerg player, using what? Mobility. Hero has the chance to kind of phase an army away from mostly Stalkers and a few Colossus and a few Templar into mostly Archons and a few Templar and a few Colossus and a few Stalkers. With that boost in Archons and Templar, we're going to see that Hero's going to rack up an incredibly strong presence in the game. And look at this. 3 Archons, 17 Stalkers, 16 Zealots. As we go into the final segment, we'll just begin to note, what do you know? Look at this. A warp in here. Why not a warp in up here? Well, there's 2 important things. For one, we're not sure that there's a lot to attack here anyways. We know that eventually Dongregü will rebuild that. But the most important clue is, hey, look at these locusts. And you can just click on them and see how long they've been moving. To be able to say to yourself, you know what? He's probably somewhere around this area. He's probably not as focused down here. Simple little clue, just seeing the locusts spring forth. Really big. When I come back, we'll finish this and we'll take questions. I hope you're playing Threes, the new iOS game from my roommate Asher. It's amazing, and I'm going to play it over break. Get it? Okay, let me actually check the App Store, because Threes was number 3 in the App Store when I last checked. Let's see what it is now. Well, it's number 3. I want to get that to number 1 just to be nifty. Okay. Okay, we'll be back.